In the 7.3 Go, you're going to be graphing a pair of functions. You're then going to be asked to make observations about how the functions compare to each other. When we do this, we're going to be looking for ideas. Are they parallel? Or are they perpendicular? So if we're talking parallel, those are two lines that have the same slope, versus perpendicular, those are lines that have opposite reciprocal slopes, where you flip the fraction, change sign, they make a right angle. Now, are there any of these here that are not linear? Take a look at the equations. Are there any of those that are not going to make a line? Yeah, that would be the exponential functions down in number 4. If they're exponential, we aren't going to get parallel and perpendicular, so we'll have to find something else to describe with those. Okay? So let's do an example of our linear ones. Let's go ahead and let's take number 7 on. So before we start, we want to make sure that we identify what we know with our justifications. So on number 7, I can see this one has a slope for the first equation of 1/3. It has a y-intercept of 0, -1. Now they've already scaled the axes, so I can go and plot this. So I'm going to start at 0, -1. It's got a slope of 1/3. That means up 1 over 3. Do that a couple times maybe, and then we can draw that line in. This would be the line y equals 1/3 x minus 1. Now if you're graphing more than one function at a time, you should label them. So notice to the side, I've written down y equals 1/3 x minus 1. Now what about the next line? What would that one be? Well, it's got a slope of -3, and it also has a y-intercept of 0, -1. So let's go ahead and graph this line. We'll start at 0, -1. And then we're going to have a slope of -3. That means we're going to go down 3, 1 to the right, down 3, 1 to the right. Let's graph that line. And again, make sure you label. So this is the equation y equals -3x minus 1 graphed. And what do we notice? Well, they intersect, so we could say that they intersect at the point 0, -1. That'd be a good observation. What else? Well, if one slope is 1/3, the opposite reciprocal of that would be take the 1/3, flip, that becomes 3 over 1, change the sign, becomes -3 over 1. That's what we've got here. If these have opposite reciprocal slopes, these lines are perpendicular. So we could talk about the intersect, we could talk about that they are perpendicular, right? That's what we're kind of looking for in this activity. Now, when you do the number 10, you're going to need to make a table. Now, for an exponential function, we can't just talk about the slope. It doesn't have a constant slope. That's why it's not a line. So instead, make a table, pick values. Go, for instance, like -2 to 2. Pick some numbers. And then plug it in the table, graph the first function, make another table for the next one, and then graph. Once you have it, just compare. What do you see happening? All right, good luck with the Go.